Dietrich says, hey, Anton, I appreciate the content, but can you give a few words of encouragement? I've been breaking out of a lot of my bad habits, learning from you, but today was really tough for me. Maybe I'm in my head too much. Yo, to be honest with you, bro, you're not in your head too much. You just need to. Here's the biggest thing about breaking out of bad habits is staying busy. The minute that you start, they say that the idle mind is a devil's workshop, and the real meaning of that is that when you start sitting down and getting in your thoughts and then getting into these emo music and then start being around other people and start back hanging around the same thing that you used to do in order to get into the same things in your head that you used to get into, then you get bit. Dog, everything is staying busy. You can be in love with a chick. And the minute that you start staying busy and getting involved with other people and being around friends and being productive and starting to talk to other people is the minute that you start forgetting about her. Most people find themselves back into bad habits because they have not replaced it with something else that's a lot more productive or conducive or something that they like. And so when you start to fall back into it or you think that you're making an issue, just look at the forward progress. Most of us is always looking in the rearview mirror, and you can never go forward by looking in the rearview mirror. So the thing that you need to do is stay focused and continuing to plot forth. This is the thing about success. All right. This is the biggest thing about success that you need to realize and that you need to take from this conversation. You don't have to be successful for the year. I'll give you an example. A lot of times when I'm on a coaching call and people have a whole lot of debt, they'll say something like, man, I got this amount of debt. I got this amount of debt. And it's very, very difficult for me to be able to pay that off. And I can't see it. Oh, my God. And so they'll fall back or they'll look to fall back into some of the same habits that temporarily made them feel good about where they were at in life, not realizing that when they woke up in the morning, they still was going to be facing the same circumstances. So I always break it down to them like this. And I say, listen, you got this amount of debt, right? Yeah. I said, okay, cool. And you can't see your way out of it. Let's say the debt is $36,000, $34,000, something like that. Let's say $36,000 in debt, right? And I say, how fast can you pay off $36,000 of debt? And they say, oh man, that's going to take me a long time. It's going to take me, 3 years, 4 years. That's a long time, man. I want to get rich now. I say, okay, cool. Don't worry about it. I said, I'll tell you what. How long will it take you to come up with $3,000 additional in this month? And they start thinking about it. They're like, it's not impossible. I definitely can figure it out. You know what I'm saying? $3,000 additional. Well, I can do some gig work and maybe I can do a little bit of work over here and then I could do some overtime. And so, you know what I'm saying? I think I can figure that out. I said, okay, I said, you know what? I'm asking too much of you. What if I asked you to just give me an extra $100 a day? Can you make an extra $100 in a day? Man, yeah, that ain't nothing. I can absolutely make an extra $100 a day. $100 a day, man, I can go and, a couple airport runs and I can probably cover that with tips and stuff like that. Man, I definitely can run up $100 a day. I said, interesting. Did you know that an extra $100 a day actually wipes out over $36,000 in debt in 1 year? I said, you telling me you can't do an extra $200 a day? Yeah, man, I could do an extra $200 a day. I'll be spending that on nothing, whatever, blah, blah, blah. I spent $200 the other day. I know you can. And so the point of the story is that I'm not asking you to be great for the year. I'm asking you to be great today. Every single day, focus 100% on what you then broke down from a milestone perspective. So that $36,000 is really $3,000 a month, which is really $100 a day. And you can cut that in half by $200 a day, which means you can pay off $36,000 in 6 months with an additional $200 a day. But it's not about the money, right? What we do is we start at the end goal, we break it down, we milestone it out, and then we use practical everyday advice on how it is that we can make sure that we're successful for that day. That's it. Just that day, that's it. And that applies to everything. It applies to going. That's why I'm not focused on what the results are. The results is for everybody else. I'm focused on what am I doing in order to be successful today. So if you're dealing with a person that you don't want to deal with anymore, all you got to do is focus on being successful and not calling them, not dealing with them, and staying busy for that day. If you're looking to pay off a piece of debt, when you milestone it out for what it is that you want that to look like, all you got to do is be intentional and take care of business that day. If you want to make sure that you don't fall into bad habits, all you got to do is to be great that day. And then over a period of time, 30 days, 60 days, that create a habit. Next thing you know, you forgot that you was even into that in the first place. Until somebody from your past that you ain't supposed to be around in the first place reminds you that, hey, man, remember where you came from? Remember when you used to do this? No, I don't even remember that because I ain't into that no more. That ain't my life. I've already created another life for myself by having different habits and different ways that I go about taking care of business instead of spending the majority of my time focused and worried about what's happened in my past instead of focusing on what's on my future. What people don't realize, and I was talking to a couple yesterday, right? And it was a young guy, and he had took a young girl out, and this is the honest to God, on my father's grave truth. And he said, hey, man, I recognize you. Yeah, you Anton Daniels. Can you give us some advice or whatever? And I said, oh, y'all a couple? And he said, no, not yet. But, she cool. And then they laughed or whatever. And they said, can you give us some advice? And I said, listen, here's my advice for y'all. Focus 98, 99% of your energy on the thing that you love about her and the thing that you like about him, and focus 1% of your time on the things that you don't care about. When I look at people, and a lot of times when I run into people and they from my past or somebody that I went to high school with, and they said, oh man, remember when we was this, remember when we was that? Most of the time I genuinely don't. And I'll be like, no, I don't even remember that. Remind me of it. You know why? I was talking to Quentin, and shout out to Quentin. He probably still in the chat right now. He's going to be on Tuesday night tonight. I was talking to Quentin, and I was talking to a group of people that was on a platform on After Hours. And they said, Anton, I wish I can go back to being 20. I wish I can go back to being 19. Man, I was a beast back then. I said, absolutely not. No way in the world would I ever go back to 20, 30, 32, 33, 34, 36, 37, 38, 39, 22, 18, none of that. They said, why not? I said, because, bro, my best years are ahead of me. My best years are ahead of me. I am spending the majority of my energy, the majority of my time dedicated to the thing that's going to feed me in the future. Dog, every day is a dream. My life gets better. And that happens when you focus on looking out the window instead of looking in the rear view. Every day you get better. Every day you progress. Every day you become a little bit more successful. Every day you become a little bit more able to communicate effectively, to grow, to become smarter. Why would I want to go back to being what it is that I used to be, that I tried to get away from, that I've grew from? And so listen, understand this, even if you've had a bad day, because we always have them. I've had a bad day. The chat has been here and walked me through my bad days. You got a whole community of people right here, right now that love you, that's pushing for you, that want you to be great. Even though we all over the country and we all over the world, and there's bag chasers everywhere, and there's people that's in this chat, and I check in with the chat and I say, hey, where y'all from? Where y'all at? Where y'all going? What's happening out in these streets? What's y'all sentiment? And I check on y'all in the morning, and I also find out what y'all do for a living, and I'm always interacting with the chat. You know why? Because your community and your group of friends and your people, this ain't just the internet. This is a way for us to be connected. Remember this, it's people that want to see you successful. That's why I created the Discord. That's why we got the bag chasers. That's why we meet up in person. We pray for each other. We love each other. And so you got to remember, and I always lean into my word. When it comes down to it, if I ain't got nothing else to lean into, I lean into my word. And when Jesus' mother came to him and she tried to knock on the door and say, hey, I'm his mother. And this ain't nothing against Jesus' mother, but this is the point of the story. He said, I'm his mother. He said, don't even answer the door because my family and my friends is right here. It ain't my blood. It ain't the people that I was raised with. It ain't the environment that I feel like I'm indebted to just because I was raised there and we ain't never known no property in there. It ain't none of that. You ain't your circumstance. You ain't your job. You ain't your title. You ain't the people that surround you. You ain't none of that. You know who you are? You are a sum total of the people that you spend the majority of your time with. And so if the people that you're spending your time with is going in that direction, then you go that way. Don't get distracted. Don't look in the rear view. Don't look to your side. Don't see where everybody else is going. Your group, your community, the people that you roll with, your family is not the people that you was born with. It's not the identity politics. It's not the things that's surrounding you. It's not your neighborhood. It's not your job. That is a way for you to make money. That is the place that you came from. This is where you learned your lesson from. And these are the people that tried to hold you back. Your family and your group of people, your community is the people that's going in the direction that you're going in. You are not your past. And so let that go. We don't trauma bond. We don't hold on to things. We understand that things is going to happen in your life, but you got to understand that you are the sum total of the people in the environment that you spend your time with. Dress for the job that you want. Look at the direction that you're going in, not the place that you at, and not the community that you serve today. You have to vet even the people that you're surrounding yourself with the people that's going in the direction that you're going. And even when you talk about a spouse, you got to vet for where you're going, not for what you currently feel and where you currently at, because you ain't going to feel this way tomorrow. I'm telling you, listen, when you think about your life, don't think about it based off of where you at. Think about it based off of where you're going. When I see people that are in their jobs too long, that surround themselves with certain people that's not adding value in their life too long, with people that's not going in that direction, I'm telling you, milestone your life out. Focus on the vision. Lay out exactly what you want your life to look like. Lay it out. What you want your wife to look like. How many kids you want. What kind of cars you want to drive. Where you want to go. How much you want to study. How knowledgeable you want to become in all of these different things. Lay out what the vision of your life is. And I ain't talking about on the vision board. I'm talking about writing it down in real life and look at it. And then check off every single month. Do an inventory of where you at and where you want to go and check it off every single month as far as your progress, and replace those things with new things that you've learned in that month and milestone it out. Break it down into months, break it down into days, and then tell me what it takes in order for you to be successful that day only. All you got to do is be great today, not tomorrow, not the next day. Today. Focus on today. Execute today. People ask me, Anton, why are you so consistent? How you never got burnout? Because I ain't focused on tomorrow. I already laid out the plan for the year. And the only thing I got to do is be great today. I got this many calls. I got this many live streams. I got this many business calls. I got this many things that I got to do. I got to take care of this business. I got to be to bed by this time. I got to help this many people. And I got to go out and I got to network for this long. Only thing I'm caring about is what is on my calendar right here, right now, because that is the thing that I laid out, what is going to feed my future, feed my family, feed my ego, feed my greatness. You are great. You just haven't uncovered it. And so your suffering was the lesson. The success is before you. So you'll never have another bad day. The only thing you're going to do is, even if you have a problem, you failing forward. You'll never have another bad day if you take the advice that I'm giving you right now. You will never, ever have another bad day. The only thing you're going to have to look forward to is what's happening in your future. If you take the advice, you clip this up, you take it, you put it in your life, you listen to it every day, I guarantee you, your life will be more fruitful than ever before. I don't have to be successful for the rest of the year. I just got to be successful today. And then tomorrow, I just got to be successful today. And then the day after that, I just got to be successful today. That's it. That's it. And live every day like it's your last. It's called the present for a reason. All right? All right, big dog. Hopefully that gives you some insight, some motivation. Shout out to you, D-Trick619.